We reserve a few minutes Sunday morning to suggest news or trends that seem to be predicted by our literal futurist reading of the Bible. A futurist expects the remaining unfulfilled end times prophecies to be fulfilled in the future. We don't see them as allegories or merely apocalyptic literature meant to inspire. The book of the Revelation, for example, is mostly unfulfilled prophecy. There will be a 7-year Great Tribulation featuring a global leader commonly called the Antichrist. We're careful to use recognized, reliable sources for our news. We don't want to add to the sensationalism of the end times. We're not saying the things we report are the fulfillment of prophecy, only that they are things you would expect in light of the Bible's unfulfilled prophecies. In other words, you read the Bible and these predictions that it makes, you should see certain trends out in the world moving in that direction. We expect, for example, that the Jews will erect a temple either before or during the Great Tribulation. We know that it will be standing in the Great Tribulation. In the Old Testament book of Daniel, we are told about the temple being defiled in the last days. That defilement has a weird name. It's called the abomination of desolation. We know it's still in the future because Jesus warned the Jews that it was coming. It had not yet occurred. It's going to occur in the very middle of the Great Tribulation and after the first 3.5 years. And so news about a future temple being built is a reminder of these unfulfilled prophecies, and we would expect to read about that because these things they don't happen overnight. There needs to be a lot of preparation for them. A dye made from a particular worm is necessary for certain rituals in the temple. On July 9, just a few days ago, several outlets posted the story. Well, actually, it was yesterday, right? Today's the 10th? All right, it was yesterday. On July 9, yesterday, several outlets posted the story titled, "Crimson Worm Dye, a Key Element for Red Heifer Sacrifice, Developed in Preparation for the Third Temple." The term is usually translated as crimson wool, but the actual term refers to the insect, which is the source of the dye. The dye produces a unique shade of red used for the temple curtain, as well as the high priest's garments, and in a very important sacrifice we'll read about in a minute. Part of the article discussed the connection of this dye with what is called the red heifer. In the book of Numbers, we read, "A red heifer shall be burned in his sight, its hide, flesh, and blood shall be burned, its dung included, and the Cohen, the priest, shall take cedar wood, hyssop, and crimson stuff, and throw them into the fire, consuming the cow." The study was concluded at an auspicious time as Jews worldwide are currently reading this section of the Torah concerning the red heifer. You know how you have monthly or yearly Bible reading and you're all, this month you're in such and such a book. Jews just happen to be in this portion that's talking about the red heifer when they came forward with this announcement that they had the dye. A perfect red heifer is slaughtered and burned outside the temple. The ashes are necessary to purify Jews who have been rendered impure by contact or proximity to a dead body. Although the temple service can be reinstated without the ashes of a red heifer, personal sacrifices will only be possible after the ceremony is reinstated. One source explained, "There are 5 elements necessary to perform the ritual of the red heifer. We need the crimson wool," or the dye they mean, from this insect, and now they have it. We need the cedar, which we can get. We need specific location on the Mount of Olives, which we know. And finally, we need the heifer, and we are working on that. Turns out they're working on it in Texas. Boneh Israel is an organization that connects Christian lovers of Israel to the Holy Land. It's based in Texas. Boneh Israel understands ranchers. They take out full-page ads in ranching magazines explaining the situation to ranchers. They request any red calves be set aside. They recently had 5 candidates for the red heifer. 2 of the 5 were extremely close to passing. One had a very small white spot, otherwise it was perfect. The other had some hairs that could be red or black. I would just cheat, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you have a little red magic marker and, hey, what's that over there? White spot's gone. Chanan Kupetsky, an Orthodox Jewish resident of Efrat, is a liaison between B'nai Israel and the rabbis of the Temple Institute. Chanan pointed out that last year was 5781 on the Hebrew calendar. He said in Hebrew numerology, this is, I can't pronounce the Hebrew word, I don't even know the letters. So that's my new thing now. Whenever I'm talking Hebrew, that's what it is. Could be tongues too, but anyway. He said it's this. That is an acronym for it will be the year of the red heifer. The cows we were looking at now were conceived last year, Kupitsky said. So the idea is that they almost found the red heifer in the year of the red heifer, which is coming up, and so they see there's a coincidence there. It's becoming more popular among Christians to approach unfulfilled prophecies as either already fulfilled or as allegories that never will be literal. I don't understand that in light of all the news to the contrary. Futurists expect a temple in Israel to be a key structure in the Great Tribulation, and when you get into it, almost everything is ready to erect it and establish all of its rituals. They know the priests now because of the genealogy stuff that's been going on for years. This worm thing, it sounds funny, but it's eluded them for many decades, finding this particular insect and the formula, working it out from the Old Testament to get this particular dye. And they've been looking for the red heifer since forever, but you know, and every time they think they have one, but now they're getting closer. If you don't see that the Lord predicted all of this, I don't know. It's too much to be a coincidence. We believe the resurrection and rapture of the church is imminent. Jesus promised he would come and raise the dead from the church age, and that simultaneously he would rapture living believers, because when he comes to resurrect, there's going to be living believers like ourselves if he came right now. And it is imminent, meaning it could happen at any moment. And so in light of Bible prophecy and all that's going on, the question always is, are you ready for the rapture? If not, get ready, stay ready, and keep looking up, because ready or not, Jesus is coming.